Yes, hello, we're back. Yes. Okay, great. Fantastic. Hi. We're back here with another load. We got guests in the back row. We got guests in the front row. We're stacked. We got people lined up, ready to talk. Starting with Janina Gavankar. How you doing?
That's a lot of
did I pronounce that right?
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's Janina.
Janina
Gavankar.
You were pretty close, dude.
Yeah,
I
feel like I was pretty much there.
I'm not going to remember that happened at all.
The star of Star Wars Battlefront 2. That's crazy, right?
That's
cool.
crazy.
Right?
So
Star Wars.
Yeah,
so
that's
crazy.
the song.
Yeah.
I have like zero chill about it, so
Don't have the chill.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not chill worthy.
It would be
Yeah.
coming.
It's exciting as fuck.
It's super exciting, and I've had to keep it a secret for so many months, and I've been able to talk about it for so few months that all I want to do is talk about it. We have many people here, so whatever. Okay.
Perfect opportunity.
Ben Esposito.
Okay,
that's
the one you messed
That's the Ben Esposito is here. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
What's up?
Donut County.
Donut County.
Yeah.
It's the game where you play as a hole in the ground.
That's finally.
You move that hole, and then
that's
the hole
that's
gets bigger.
one of my favorite songs. That is "Move That Hole." Future is just so talented.
Jeff's really into trap. He's
Yeah,
really-
no,
Yeah.
I love it.
I can
love it.
tell.
So I'm very excited to see someone representing it in video game form.
Right.
Speaking of the video game form, Luke Smith is here.
You got the name.
That's right.
Just the two syllables.
Yeah. You are in the process of becoming one with video games via Destiny 2.
I am. I'm in the waning months,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna sleep. I'm just gonna go to sleep.
While
I'm
you
gonna take a
ruin
break.
everyone's
Luke, I don't know
lives.
if anyone told you, but Destiny 2 is still a live game, just like the first one was. You don't get to
It's never
sleep.
ending.
It's
No,
not.
it is, and like we have an amazing team who's gonna start working on that.
hand it to them, and then you go, all right, I'm out.
Okay, it's gonna be great. I love you. And then you're done.
All right. Well, we're looking forward
To that handoff.
to that handoff.
We're looking forward to giving that away.
Yeah. Nathan Vella is here from Cappy. How does it feel to have a company now that Nintendo is stealing for the name of their hat?
Oh.
I didn't. Did they do that?
Yeah, Mario's hat is named Cappy. It's crazy, right?
Is it spelled the same?
Two P's.
2P.
I don't know if that messes with your trademark.
I kept saying
Are
as
you
a
mad?
joke, like that. Oh, they definitely wouldn't name it that because then Vella would show up and crush them.
Are you mad for real?
I'm fuming.
Yeah, I can see.
Fuming.
Wasn't Cappy the name of one of the kids in Heavyweights? In the nickname? Dude, it's getting a lot of off-screen laughter.
Wait a minute. Are you saying
Is that
you
wor- is that
stole your?
Are we double burning?
Oh, yeah.
Like, is this? Are we getting it from two angles?
As the segments
I
get
actually,
later on in the
literally,
night,
I
they
actually
get to double,
didn't know
triple
that that's
burns
what they were
and-
doing
yeah.
with Mario's cap, and I kind of feel super awesome about it.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
all
it's
right.
Kind of the best.
Full circle, all
And
right.
I would say like 50% of the emails that I get misspell our name CAPPY,
makes
and they draw little hats.
Now
anyway,
just
so-
forward those to Nintendo.
Yeah, they're
And just
actually
say, like, I guess this is
they're
probably for
all
you.
intended for Miyamoto-san. Instead, I get that.
I mean, you got Reggie on the speed dial, right? You just
Oh
call him
yeah,
up.
yeah. Reg, what's up?
What up, dog?
What's the name? What's up with his name?
Fix this.
Yeah.
Can you fix this for me or what?
Also,
yeah.
we do actually have the copyright, so
Oh,
or the
great.
trademark.
You'll be
all
fine.
right,
So
You'll
with
be
the
fine.
2Ps, they're fine. We'll
And
just
lawyers. You have lawyers.
Yes.
No,
Right.
we have
work out a
lawyers cost so much money. We
You have no lawyers, but
Actually,
all
no,
lawyers.
we do have a fantastic video game lawyer.
Great.
Hi, Wayne. Please
Wayne.
drop
Hi, Wayne.
please drop the retainer. You're really expensive.
All right. And Alex Navarro was here speaking of the retainer.
Yeah, can't get rid of me.
Yeah. No.
Or
It's,
your retainer.
yeah. Did you take your retainer out or?
Is it
Is it a
I haven't had a
retainer?
retainer since I was 16, thank you.
I
lost it.
I had
He's
mine.
got a nocturnal one, let's be honest.
Yeah, I had mine when I was until I was 19 or so. I mean, if we're just sharing.
And you both have
Yeah.
beautiful smiles now.
The retainer's just something you outgrow, like ear infections, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I didn't have one of those. I still have this huge gap in my teeth. We couldn't do it.
Mine, I
Like
think-
Madonna.
too bad. Wait,
Yeah.
Where's the gap?
He is the
Just
Madonna of
gigantic.
game design.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone
That's
says
what
so.
everyone says it, yeah.
Everyone says so. So, Janina, you were up on stage at EA Play at their
I
big
was.
press conference out there
Yeah.
representing the game.
Yeah.
But also, it seemed like you were representing yourself. Like there was this middle ground of like,
like-
you were talking about the game, but also
Made
going
it all
like,
about me.
and you were like, we want it to be this way, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, because we do want it to be a certain way.
Yeah.
Also, I have to say, you guys laughed at me so freaking hard about the second sentence that I said that I kind of didn't like put the emphasis on the right word. I basically was like, I'm also, I don't know how I wrote it, but it was like, I'm also an advocate for stories and the blah, blah, blah. Two things to say about that. One, I super mean it. Two, it should have gone like this. I'm also an advocate. Like, we all are. But I was so nervous that it didn't really come out.
Oh, I bet. I mean, like, you know,
Oh,
it's
God.
I love that that's the thing you remember, but
No, of course I don't, like,
everybody else is like
I had
Star
totally
Wars
forgotten.
video
I
games.
know,
What
like,
the?
I was so outrageously nervous.
and it sounds like you had a kind of a long night getting
Yeah,
getting
so
there.
I did a secret movie in Oakland.
Whoa.
I'm not allowed to talk about it much yet.
Okay.
But it's awesome, and but we had a night shoot in Oakland, and then so we like worked until 3 or 3:30, and then
Yeah.
I slept on the floor of the Oakland airport. I might have a staph infection, and
yeah, no, that's
it was worth it. And so then I showered in the Palladium. Also, double staph infection.
This story
This is
My
really
mom's
glamorous.
here.
Yeah,
She's just
this
going,
is making me want to be a
Ew.
star.
Yeah, it's real fancy, guys. It's real fancy being me. And then I did the whole thing on no sleep and just like pure adrenaline, just absolute adrenaline. It was a rush, and then I slept 14 hours.
Oh, that sounds great. Oh, that sounds like the best part. Oh,
It was such good sleep.
Yeah.
It was the best sleep. There's a Gwen Stefani song about that.
I think
Best
so.
sleep
Yeah.
I've ever had. Something like I'm gonna misquote it, but anyway, something like that. Yeah, I was so outrageously nervous. It just meant so much to me, and I mean, well, I don't know if anyone watching knows this, but I'm a real gamer, and I actually play the video games. And
Why'd you use that voice?
because
Is that your gamer voice? Is that how we sound to you?
That's it, yeah.
no, because we sound the same. We have the same voice in my head.
We are all gamers.
We're all
We are
gamers.
also gamers. Also
We
gamers.
are also, emphasis on also. Oh God, the things you remember. It's like I put so much thought into it, and then it was just like cringe. Anyway, whatever. It's what are you gonna do?
It's all-
But
Well, like, so how did all this stuff? How did you get involved with Battlefront in
I
the first
auditioned.
place? Okay.
and I stole it from every person.
Awesome.
Well, okay, so I knew because like NeoGAF, I knew that EA was making Star Wars things.
Right.
And I knew of Amy's game. By the way, I hung out with Amy Hennig today.
What'd she tell you about the game? Let's hear it all. Let's-
I know a lot of things,
Okay,
but
all
you're
right,
gonna
all
have to kill me before I
Fair
tell you. So I knew about her game, and I knew, and it said motive, not
Visceral.
visceral.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. I was like visceral. What? Okay. So not visceral. I saw motive, and I was like, but if it's not hers, then what is it? It's Battlefront.
Yeah.
So then, but I was like, wait, Battlefront's doing a story. Oh shit! So wait, if they're doing it, then that means it's coming out earlier because. Oh my
Yeah,
God! Like
that'd
this
be
is all
that'd
in
be
my
real soon.
car
That's- yeah.
in Atlanta, and then but I was working on Sleepy Hollow, so I had to like find a time to do whatever.
Right.
So I auditioned. I put myself on tape, and then I sent it in, and I was just like, if I don't get this, I'm gonna die. Like it just meant, it means so much to me, and I can't believe that they let me do that presser or whatever you call it, the
Yeah.
conference, whatever. I can't believe it. Like, has any other actor been able to rep their game yet?
I'm trying to think, like, what, you know, if, like, maybe, but they would do it in character in this really kind of creepy way.
I wasn't sure if at first, though, just as a viewer at home, if you were in character. Because like the outfit felt imperial, had the red notes on it. I was like, oh, maybe this is
like
a
real
mix.
tough look,
You're
like,
surrounded.
yeah.
You're surrounded by stormtroopers, and I'm like, this is partially the character. Maybe that's a little what we're getting here.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I was thinking like, well, who can I talk into fabricating my uniform at Lucasfilm?
yeah.
And then instead I was like, I really believe, I've been saying this for a long time. I really, God, I'm so flustered. I have so many things I want to say simultaneously. Thanks, Ben. I feel like I've been like stamping around Hollywood for almost 10 years,
Yeah.
like trying to single-handedly educate dumb reps who do not understand that their clients are going to have a creatively fulfilling experience in this space, and it's infuriating, but the tide is changing very slowly.
Yeah.
But one of the things that annoys me is that they don't consider it fancy because people don't wear fancy shit to them, and it makes me so angry.
What?
And like,
Yeah.
no, this is real.
You didn't see all the suit coats? Those are.
First of all,
You didn't see all those
blazers
little-
are
Cool
fa-
T-shirts
But
with
this is
logos
like-
under the.
But there is a stupid disconnect. It's
17
obviously,
different
I'm
styles of
bringing it
dad
down to the
jeans.
dumbest example.
So
the
many
dumbest
different-
Why'd you
example.
point it? You pointed back.
Wait, this is about
No, I'm talking about my son, my dumb example. But it is. But there's some disconnects, and it's really infuriating. So I was like, maybe I won't wear the uniform. Maybe I'll wear a dress. You know,
Yeah.
and like stilettos. So I made this decision.
Okay.
Also, this dress is getting so much attention. I have two things to say about that. It's so dumb that they're like the thing people are talking about are is my dress.
It was the red
But-
notes.
That is really dumb.
It's the red notes, but it's pretty dumb. It's pretty dumb.
I know, I
But-
totally agree.
But I knew that was gonna happen because I've been a girl my entire life, so I had a big hand in designing it and choosing what it was gonna be because
Right.
I knew this was a moment that was rare. So okay, whatever. So I did all this stuff. I came out in the dress, and I was so nervous that I just like doubled down on her imperial nature. I was just like, I because I was so nervous. Anyway, so yeah,
I mean, that's
lived through
you know,
it.
you found the strength to get out there and make it happen,
Yeah.
right? That's what you got to do.
Yeah,
sometimes.
so it worked. Anyway, I'm talking so loud and so fast and so much. Ben,
Ben,
tell
let's
me
talk about the
your
strength
holes.
of donuts.
Let's talk about me.
And let's also make sure to touch on wardrobe. Like,
Yeah,
Okay.
what you're wearing, the Scully is really beautiful.
I got
the tan notes. How would you know they're red? Is red work? Does red work?
it was
with,
red on black.
right.
So when it's rooted in something like black or
cool.
white.
Yeah,
it's
no,
easy.
Tell us
I am
about
also
Scully.
colorblind, and yeah. No,
Thanks for
totally.
backing me up
Yeah.
on that.
Skull
Are you
came
guys
from the
both very
Grand Canyon.
colorblind? Like
Yes.
substantially?
Yeah.
Wow,
I
that's
made the
interesting.
necklace myself.
Did you whittle?
No.
Wait, did you whittle that
So
stuff?
I
Sit
got
on
this
a
at the
stu-
Grand
a
Canyon.
step or a stoop?
It used to have a feather on it.
What happened to did it fly away?
You don't want a feather
Did you
on a
lose
necklace.
it? No, you
Like-
don't. Why?
Well, first of all,
Is it like bad on the playground? What?
whenever I make my bed, I like do this with the sheet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've smacked myself in the face with this skull like 10 or 11 times.
I feel like maybe you should think about a new necklace.
Or
just
shorter.
take it
Yeah,
down.
exactly.
Plenty
Tuck
of
it
like
in
a
a couple
long
inches.
necklace,
Yeah,
though.
the length is pretty good.
No, the length is good. It's a
Okay,
good. It's
I
a good
appreciate
length.
it.
I like
That
it.
means a
Spin
lot.
it around to
But
the
it's
back.
the heaviness of it. You might lose a tooth.
I've almost.
But if you lose a tooth, you can make another skull out of your tooth
Yeah.
and then make a mini skull for your skull.
Can
That
whittle-
skull
you can
needs a
whittle-
skull,
Second
and then
one.
and then that skull should hang like down to about your shin somewhere,
Right there, Ben.
and you just keep this
it'll
going.
just get longer and longer, and then I won't
Yeah.
have any teeth anymore.
Well, that's
It'll be worth it.
teeth
That's
are
all I was
overrated.
thinking.
You can buy
At the end of the
those.
day, yeah, you can get new teeth. They
You
sell
can
them.
get
Kind of like a tail.
So tell me about Donut County. Tell me about this whole.
So,
I've seen footage of it, trailers, stuff like that, and looked at it and been like, man, this looks incredible.
I've
But I
only
have not.
seen
I've
the 2014 video.
I have not been able
okay,
to.
right. So you've
to-
seen the colors and
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
cute.
as,
Okay.
as many of the colors as I can see. Thanks
Right,
for bringing it up.
there's a limited amount of
Yeah.
proof.
Sick
Don't
burn.
worry, you're not missing out on
Okay,
anything.
good. All right,
Is
yeah.
there,
the
is
colorblind
there going to be a
guy.
colorblind mode?
There is.
Will it
There's
need one?
none
I guess.
there.
Yeah.
I
know
A
that-
lot
I
of
can't
games
imagine
If you want to
needing
play
one.
it, and tell me. Okay, so
Two
Mecca.
out of 6 humans are asking for the colorblind mode, so
okay,
you might want to.
colorblind mode confirmed.
Okay, great.
Great.
No,
News
so
people.
so the game is about a hole in the ground. You play as a mysterious hole that opens up and it's quite small. And every time something falls in, it gets a little bit bigger. And you move it around, and the thing I didn't realize when I started making it was like, okay, it's about the hole. You move the hole around, it gets bigger. But like the actual thing the game is about is the place that it's in and the objects that fall into it. Because I read a couple of like philosophy books about holes, which apparently that's a big deal. Because nobody can agree.
Yeah.
Nobody can agree on if a hole is a thing or not.
Oh, is it devoid of
okay.
things
Is-
or is it a thing?
It's the opposite
Exactly.
of a
Oof,
thing.
man,
Right.
that's some deep
There's a
shit.
lot. Okay, there's a lot going
Is
on.
it in everything? Can you be a hole in everything?
Can you? I don't know. Tell me.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say
I
hard
don't
no.
think so.
Hard no?
I
Hard
don't
no?
think there's a hole in there.
You
So-
can't make a hole
There is
rotate the way
lots-
that
True, you
everything.
can't make a hole. I mean, you could make a hole dance actually. Now that I think about it, but not.
Go on.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
Needless
okay,
to
put a beat
say-
behind it, you can.
Needless to say, it's inconclusive. We don't know. We don't know. Is
All
a
right.
hole a thing? Is it not?
How many books have you read on this? philosophy.
Did you read one that said yes and then
I
one
was
that
just
said
gonna
no?
say.
Yeah.
So I read
We'll
them.
never know.
I read them, and then
Is it binary? Is there a middle ground? Is there gray area?
Is there a spectrum?
okay. At the end of both books, they just say, you know what? Decide for yourself. I don't
Man.
know.
Oh, so it's a philosophy book. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, it's a philosophy. It's what you'd
A
expect
bunch of
from a
stuff.
philosophy.
No,
Somebody, like, people go to school
Yeah.
for this.
Poll.
I know.
So
Seth Killian
Let's start
has
a poll.
a
Abby,
degree
can
in
you start a poll?
philosophy.
Cool, thanks.
we need to know, is a hole a thing, or is
I was like, what?
is
No.
the ground? Okay, so it's a hole in the ground. Is the ground a hold ground now? That there's a hole in it?
Or is it just the ground is lower
man.
here and things get trapped in it?
Yeah, we don't know.
It also
man.
depends on.
I love
how
that this is
deep
the
it
thing that you
goes.
chose to talk about your game, Ben.
Okay,
This
but-
is,
I mean, it kind of is the
for-
game, isn't it?
no, it is.
It
But I
is
love.
the
I wasn't
No,
being
it's like,
facetious.
it's
I love that
asking
this
the
is the thing
Is
that's
it
important to the
asking the
creator.
question?
This is
it's
the
actually cool.
It's
to
what
me.
interests me. But okay, so on a more relevant note, since we're in LA, it's a game that's inspired by LA. So it takes place.
A hole.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Perfect.
I mean, eventually LA will
not
be
gonna
swallowed
share.
up in
Well,
a
like
giant
the
hole.
donut,
So,
the donut on the thing.
yeah.
Right. So yeah,
What is
yeah.
that donut place called?
The actual one?
Yes, the one
Randy's
that's
Donuts.
Randy's, thank
Right, which
you.
is like an iconic
Yes.
LA.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a landmark. So the donut shop that this takes place around is inspired somewhat by Randy's Donuts. And you start out in the desert and you go to like Joshua Tree and you make the hole makes its way towards the donut shop.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from New York, but now I live in LA.
Okay.
Which I love.
Oh, good.
It's really great.
I thought you were gonna say something else. Like that's why I want to make a game that swallows it. Because it's hard to
You
be
know-
here, but you like it.
I really love LA, I gotta say. It's really great. Moved here in 2011. Best decision.
And then, yeah, I mean, you co-founded like Glitch City and stuff like that.
Right,
as
yeah.
well.
So we have like a
kinda-
co-working space here.
Yeah.
The indie scene's really great in LA, and it's only grown. So like we have a co-working space called Glitch City LA.
Where is it?
It's in Culver City.
Is Zoe there? Zoe Quinn?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Zoe's there now, and yeah, it's a really good community. Like we have a bigger space now. We're kind of growing, and it's all
the best.
It's all indies like doing their own projects. So you kind of come in, and we have big tables, or you can have a desk there, and a lot of cool stuff came out of it. Like Hyperlight Drifter came out of it. Brendan Chung works there.
Yeah.
And, yeah, there's some really cool stuff. So it's a really good environment.
Awesome.
Awesome.
And I work by myself, so it's really nice to have like people around.
Sometimes,
to
yeah, whether it's like you can
communicate
just
with.
like bounce something off someone or just to, not go crazy.
Yeah,
right?
even just to goof off. It's
Yeah.
like
Luke, you never have that problem. You are on.
Surrounded constantly.
Yeah.
Ensconced
Yeah.
in people.
Yeah, you got
Yes.
people all over the place.
People for days.
working on Destiny 2.
Destiny 2, yeah.
Which how did it feel getting out there and announcing that thing in that airplane hangar?
That was I didn't realize it till it was over, but that was the most stressed I've ever been in my entire life. Like I had no idea. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for what everyone just did at the press conferences, because I had no idea what went into it. Like when I was just sitting on my couch, like shitting on it all these years,
Yeah.
like just mercilessly, I had no clue what it was. My first day of rehearsals, and I don't prepare notes. I had sort of just like speaking notes. I don't talk
Like
from a
bullet points
teleprompter.
and kinda, yeah.
That teleprompter's rolling, and I'm just face planting horribly, and I can see the blood drain from everyone watching his face. Where they're like, this guy seems like he's like, as a human, he seems pretty good when he's talking. He goes up here with the teleprompter and chokes. And so I worked with the teleprompter folks, and we sharpened it up, and then I think by the time we actually did it the following day, it doesn't even look like I'm looking at a teleprompter, and I think the team did a great job, but I had no idea the production that goes into it, that there are we probably had, our crew was amazing, and everyone was focused on just helping you not look dumb. And that's an amazing
actually
feeling,
succeeding.
as it turns out. That feels incredible. They're just, everyone's trying to help you, and that event was, by far the most stressed I've ever been in my entire life, because we have the stressful part of making the game, but that's like the devil I know.
Sure,
And
yeah.
the DRE event was definitely the devil I didn't know. And that was, just like,
But you lived through it.
yeah, we made it, and it turned out, I think, pretty well. It got a little warm in the theater. For sure, I was glad I went first, because then the air conditioning was turned off, and it became a nightmare for everyone else.
Yeah.
But
It got a little
it got a little warm. It got a little warm.
There's an airplane hangar,
Yeah,
as it
there were a
turns
lot
out.
of people
Yeah.
in there.
A lot
But
of selfie sticks.
that was fun. It was a fun event.
So,
Were the sticks generating heat? Is that what you're...
yeah, no, the sticks, they're hot sticks.
Great.
It's a whole
Great.
yeah.
Of course.
So there was kind of a lot of content.
Yeah.
kind of went in thinking like, oh, it's gonna be Destiny. They're gonna like, we're gonna fiddle with a thing for a
close
couple
your
minutes
eyes, listen to this music, something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Paul McCartney's gonna be there. This whole thing. Yeah.
Hope shines bright.
Yeah. And
How is Paul doing, by the way?
No, we haven't talked lately.
weird. Huh?
He's
Yeah.
not. I mean, we're not returning each other's calls like that.
But I guess it was a little bit more than I thought in terms of like, hey, here's a story mission, here's a strike, and here's some PvP. I mean, I guess at some point you have to represent like the main things of Destiny.
Yeah, some
right?
of the total scope, and also then here's like the 45-minute presentation
Right.
and supplemental videos describing a bunch of the game's feature set, and we wanted to basically put something out there that was, here's like what the game is, and we believe in the game that we're making, and so we had a stage to ourselves for an hour. Like, let's try to make this entertaining and informative.
Yeah. I think you
And worth the trip.
Yeah, no, I think you did really well up there for what it's worth. I did
Thanks a lot.
not realize you were reading off a teleprompter, other than of course you were because it's a press conference. But like you were very nice.
It was the moment where the Zavala piece ended and I walked out I will remember that forever because you're looking out at this audience of people who are just like psyched to be there, and we had a pretty friendly crowd full of community members, enthusiasts, and cynical press.
Right. Yeah. No,
But you guys were outnumbered. You're outnumbered.
Yeah. No, they put us somewhere in the back. It's like
You're supposed to be surrounded by the loving community and the embrace.
Yeah. No,
It didn't work that way.
Last time I was surrounded, like I sat up front at a Sony press conference when they announced Kingdom Hearts 3, and I thought that I was gonna get jumped because like people were just like standing up, crying, going like ah! But like they wanted it to be out right then and there. And like Vinny and I are sitting up there and just going like, I don't know. This is.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is a kind of this crowd is going to turn at some point, and it's the whole thing. I don't know, man. Nathan Vella, you are now working on I guess like you have OKKO.
OKKO, yeah. So I mean we have a couple teams at the studio. One of them is still working on finishing Below, which is a thing that will get finished.
So you keep saying.
When?
Yeah. No, I do actually. That's so you keep saying. It's actually a totally fair point.
Yeah.
It'll be done by the time the Xbox XXX comes out.
Xbox One,
Xbox
Xbox.
SX.
Yeah.
And it'll be there.
Yeah.
Yes. No, we're still aiming to finish it this year, so that's cool.
Cool.
And then we also took the other team and ended up in a weird situation where one of the co-executive producers of Steven Universe was making a new show. His name's Ian Jones-Cordy. He's been a part of like Steven and Adventure Time and Venture Brothers and like all the things that I love a ton and all the things that have influenced our studio. And him and his partner on the show, Toby Jones, not related, kind of came to us through this awesome dude named Ryan, and we just started talking about like, hey, maybe we could make a thing together. And we get pitched a lot of branded video game content, and I mean, it's usually not that exciting because there's usually this like timelines and somebody has already written and designed. It's really just not. It doesn't work very well.
They just show up and go like, "Could you make this in 4 months?"
Yeah, exactly. And I think the industry, like we've been proven through Batman, through Mordor, through a few other really good air quotes branded games that like if you just get a great team and let them run free with a cool idea, then you can make good stuff.
Yeah.
Star Wars is a perfect example.
Yeah, and I mean there have been a ton of really bad Star Wars games.
Yeah.
And
but there's also been a whole bunch of good ones. Too.
You don't
No, it's great.
They're just great. Yeah.
Everyone ever has been.
EA didn't make any of those.
No, it's fine.
EA didn't make any of those, but over the years, some people have not treated Star Wars with the respect that it seems like EA seems to be these days.
Nobody asked.
So yeah, we got a chance to. They hadn't even greenlit the show, so the show didn't exist. Okay. And the game and the show just kind of started working at the same time, and they were working on this crazy, amazing cartoon about a lovable kid who works at a bodega in a strip mall for superheroes. So they go there to buy their power-ups. Literally every person in this world is a superhero of varying levels. And So Mr. Gar, who runs the bodega, is like the ultimate superhero. He's like level 11. But it's a show about like what do game characters do in between games. And it's phenomenal. It's super heartfelt, but it's also hilarious and stupid at the same time. Yeah. And so while Ian and Toby and the team at Cartoon Network Studios were building the show, we were also working with them to build the game, except that they just let us make the game. So it's our own art style, it's our own writing, it's our own design, and it's all like us hanging out with really cool cartoon creators talking about how really amazing show that I think is going to be a giant hit. We're actually like the first people who have seen the show that don't work on the show, and we get everything. We get all of their S&P notes, which is basically like what happens when you have to make a show for 7-year-olds, and there's like really specific rules, like you can't have anybody hurt in any way.
S&P
you can't have
standards and practices.
Standards and practices. You can't have people lead a kid into a forest because they're like, well, maybe you should follow. Maybe kids are like, maybe I should follow people into forests. It's really enlightening.
One person ruined that for all of us.
Yeah, well.
One clown.
Yeah, stupid clown. But the end result is we got to make a really cool brawler meets adventure RPG set in a strip mall full of cast of characters. And the combat is all about KO punching robots in the face. But you also collect cards because every character obviously is a hero, and so every hero has a card.
Sure, yeah.
And you get to collect cards and then use those cards to bring all of your heroes into battle with you. Kind of like, basically, I love Marvel vs. Capcom 3 a lot. And I love the idea of like being a main character, but also having a choice of who helps you out.
Like assist characters.
Yeah, so we have
like
assist characters in it, and you get to kind of level up those characters. It's a really silly video game that they made with us. And it's cool because like Ian and Toby are phenomenal people. They're working on some of, in my opinion, the most important pieces of cultural content that are being made right now. Like, people like to talk about how rad cartoons are, but they also kind of like to talk about how, I think, important they are. I think Steven Universe is one of the most important things I've seen. It's also hilarious and endearing and funny, but it's also showing kids not those G.I. Joe, like, remember kids, don't like jump off a cliff.
Right.
It's like, remember kids, like, family is what you make it. Remember kids, like, being, like, treating people with love and respect is actually an important way to get ahead in life. Like, these things that are big lessons that cartoons normally never taught. And KO is talking a lot about, like, hey, like, eventually you're gonna get a job, and you're not gonna know what you're doing, but that's okay. And hey, you have a lot of heroes, and if you're cool to them, they want to help you.
It's not underestimating its audience.
It is. It's treating kids
Yeah.
with some respect.
That's always been the thing, you know, about like kids games and stuff like that for years and years. You know, the kids games getting made just seemed like completely underestimating their audience and just like making stuff that just never really respected. Because I think about, like, you know, the games I grew up with were, you know, weird turn-based art. You know, I'm playing like Pool of Radiance and all these gold box games and all this, you know, just all this D&D stuff that
Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, just insane arcane rules that I'm just like, no, I got it. And then as I kind of grew up and started like reviewing games, they're like sending in kids game, and it's just like, I don't know, it's Shrek and he farts or
he does a lot of
fucks, or I don't know what he does. Like, what does Shrek do? Listens to that Smash Mouth song.
It's super fun for us to like
that's
to try to make a game that is like cool for kids, but is fun for me, right? Like that. Like, I'm not trying to. We're not trying to make.
Do you have kids?
I have a 7-month-old.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
When's the last time you've slept?
He is the best. He likes to sleep a lot. So
I don't have kids, but I've heard.
It's all my wife's fault. She is the best. But yeah, it's fun.
Nice.
I love the idea of making a game that, like, eventually, you know, in like 3 to 4 months he can play, because like like a year-old kid can play games, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I think so. I think
that's
how it
totally
works.
normal.
I want to say that once they get to the 1 year mark, that's probably when they stop.
So it's crawling video games walking, right?
Yeah.
That's the.
Yeah, by age 3, that's when you get to like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Fatalities. They know
It's
fatalities.
fine.
No, it's fun to make a game that's like I really want to play this game. It's a game that like I think is super fun and dumb and hilarious, and but also like super deep, and like there's a real combo system in there that like for people like me who love fighting games can actually optimize. But also if you're a kid and you want to just press a whole bunch of buttons, fun stuff's gonna happen too.
Cool.
It's been a really, really cool project. We're showing it here for the first time. And I'm really stoked that we get to work with people who trust us to just run free with their dumb ideas and make more of our own.
That's awesome.
I think I actually got a joke into an episode of the show, and I'm not really
weird.
like I don't like to write stuff because I'm not good at it, but I do like to try to like force my will upon people, and I forced my will upon them. And
How does that work with the WGA?
That's a good question. I actually didn't write it. I just was like, wouldn't it be dumb if? And then that
That's
turned
writing.
into
So someone who actually
That's
had
actually writing.
But someone with the WGA credit.
Scab!
I'm so house. All right. You don't have to join. Like,
Also, I'm sure the WGA is watching right now.
Yeah, they're definitely watching. The president
Yeah.
is watching
I'm so
right now.
Yeah, no, that's we got a big problem.
Excellent. So yeah, making video games, it's fun.
So Janina, when you take on a role like this in a game, is it something like, did you kind of do it all in one go, or are you like always going back? Like, will you go back there to record more game
I have
stuff?
motion capture tomorrow morning.
Okay, so it's like
So I
still
have
in
to
progress.
leave right now. I should leave right now and sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still in progress. So when I did Far Cry 4, I was. I'm so vocal. Everybody, they've realized that now. But
What they've gotten themselves into.
it's
like, oh.
too late. They already scanned my face.
Could we not hire anyone who cares about the game anymore? Because it's way easier if they just come in and do it.
Yeah, no, but this is, I'm telling, like, there's so much love around this. This is like a nice warm hug from this entire group of people. And Lucasfilm is super involved. We have a story group person with us every day that we're working.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it's a super, it's just wonderful experience. Okay, so when I was doing Far Cry 4, I was there for the first read through of a script that was completely scrapped.
Oh, wow.
And we started completely anew. And I was
Yeah.
like, what is this? I've been working on all these ideas and backstory for this. And I had to scrap it all and start over again. And with this one, we have a book that's coming out that's about about Inferno Squad. So it's our entire backstory. So if you are a Star Wars fan and you're like excited about the story mode of this game, read the book. Also, I'm doing the voice for the audiobook.
That's cool.
So
That's awesome.
if you're lazy and you don't want to read it, you can just listen to me try to do all those voices. But
Looks like,
I don't read. I can only listen.
audiobooks.
Yeah.
But I listen to audiobooks. Whatever. Okay. So
But that's the thing. You're not just doing the read-through. You're doing the voices
I'm doing.
too.
It's gonna be so weird. It's like I've got to do 3 English dudes
Oh, wow.
that all talk to each other. It might be
Have
weird.
you been
Just-
workshopping it all? Can we get a preview?
Yeah.
Nope.
Good time, mate.
trying,
Good time,
trying.
mate.
Not ready
Yeah,
for prime
they
time.
sound
Throw
just
another
like that.
shrimp on the barbie.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
nailed it.
much. Thanks. It's really helpful.
What about, hey, what, you puke? I don't know, something
Watch-
like
What?
that.
Puke?
Yeah.
Hey, what?
Hey, what, you puke? That's Star Wars lingo.
really
right?
Star
You know?
Wars.
Just
Yeah.
watch
Oh,
the Oasis.
lightsaber.
Yeah.
Watch an
Yeah,
Oasis
great.
behind the music.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Cool.
Just be Liam and Noel. It's good. They
Just
come with
talk to each other,
subtitles.
just walk-
Yeah,
okay.
it's good. You know what I mean?
Anyway, so there's a book, and I was very interested in the backstory because I'm a nerdy actor, and I want to know all of the things, and I don't want to just make it up, especially if it exists already. So there's a lot of research, and Mitch Dyer, who is one of the writers,
Bitchy D.
yeah, Mitch D, he,
Nice of him to finally get an honest job.
right,
Get out of this games press thing.
Yeah.
Do something real.
He was like immediately available to me, and even before I had met or talked to any of the producers, the second I knew I had the gig, I was immediately like secretly talking to him and being like, just give me everything you possibly can, because I want this person to be not just
Right.
like a strong chick in a uniform, because it's okay. I'm gonna say some shit.
Let's see some shit.
I'm not gonna name names. I got an audition for a game that will remain nameless, and I passed on it because the breakdown was the dumbest shit I've ever heard of.
I imagine
it was
that,
a
like-
non-character.
Yeah, I imagine you
and
must
it
see a
said
lot of
a
it.
real woman's man or something. She's like a woman man. I was like, so she's a dude with boobs. Cool, great,
It's
got
like,
it.
Did they just
No.
not want to write the word tomboy
I don't.
or something?
I honestly,
which is not
she's
a
really
great word
kick-ass.
either. Like, yeah.
Don't know if you got it, but she kicks ass. Like,
Yeah.
don't care. I
Like
don't
that's
care.
the
I
one
don't-
thing they've got for you. Like, oh,
Yeah.
she's badass.
Yeah, this is
Like,
a really emotional story. These are really, they have really big characters, and there's a whole book about them. So they're like rooted in a past together.
Right.
Inferno Squad has been together for a while. Our relationships with each other, we've worked on them a lot. We do this thing where we'll improvise an entire scene.
Cool.
And there's one scene that we completely rewrote on the spot with Mitch as we were improvising it. So relationships are really important as well. It's not just about like, especially as we progress in video games about like stamping around and being a real hard chick. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Don't call me for that, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
I'll take that. I'll be the
Yeah,
stomp
if you
around
could do
hard
that,
chick.
that'd be great.
Here's my hard chick. Hey, what, you puke? that's my hard chick voice.
Can I write that on the board? Can I officially add it to the board?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to add that to the board.
I'm on it.
This-
You should ask other people questions.
Speaking of the board, there's a certain thing that we should
yeah,
probably bring up.
extremely
There's
fucking Bubsy.
It's the year of Bubsy.
It's the year of Bubsy. How do you feel as the creator of the last Bubsy work?
The best Bubsy game of all time.
But the best Bubsy work.
Well,
let's say the only good
the
Bubsy
deepest
work.
So actually,
maybe.
Ben, you got it. Like you do. Like there are people watching who are probably not familiar with the fact that like you were a part of.
Okay, so I'm part of
Backstory.
I'm part of a group called Arcane Kids, and we made one of the members, Jacob, bought the domain bubsy3d.com.
Okay.
That was the impetus for the whole thing, and then we sat on it for a year. We're like, someday
Yeah, of
we're
course.
gonna figure something out.
Yeah.
And then we decided, nobody's doing it. Let's make bubsy3d.com. And so we made a game for it, and I had just gone to LACMA, like the museum in LA, and there was a James Turrell retrospective, and it was really beautiful. It was really striking, and I had like a really big moment there, and so we're like, let's make it so Bubsy teaches you how to appreciate art, and so I recreated the James Turrell retrospective in 3D, and you go around and Bubsy comments on like how meaningful it is to him, and then he also goes to hell.
Oh.
And then becomes an adult.
I was gonna say it takes a turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Surprisingly,
Yeah.
a Ben Esposito game takes a turn
and then
for the
then,
funnies.
he becomes an adult, and he goes to Applebee's like any real adult should after work, and then he's still haunted by art, the shadow of art, and like the
Not
impact
going
on
to
his
hell,
life.
just the art.
Last time I went to Applebee's,
Helen's, like, not
I
really a big
posted
deal.
something on Twitter about how it was making me feel suicidal, and the Applebee's account wrote back and said, "Is there anything we can do to help?"
I'm glad
I
they're
was just
there
like,
for you.
No, I did not respond, but I looked at my phone and went, no, absolutely. You've done enough already, Applebee's.
It's like customer
dragging
service
me
going
down.
too far.
Yeah, no, exactly.
far.
Just
The brands
like,
don't need to care that
leave
much.
It, leave it alone.
Yeah, it's a
Leave it alone.
little unsettling.
Also,
You're
They-
like,
they
we
might-
really,
yeah.
how dare you just swat us away as we try to send
Right.
you love.
It's like, no, this skillet queso or whatever is just not, it's not gonna,
microwave.
They have their Twitter settings to only see verified mentions.
that's
So
probably,
like
yeah.
the other people who are struggling with this aren't being
And I'm being
active.
super served by
Yeah.
Applebee's
You're being
in so many ways.
overrepresented.
Speaking of super serving an audience, Luke Smith, tell me about Destiny 2. No, let's
Let's go right into
That was such a good
I
transition.
can't, I
was
can't
good.
like actually
That was
just
good.
let that be the thing.
No, that's the
But-
thing. I'm sorry.
Okay, no. Tell me about Destiny 2. Like, when you came out of the Destiny 1 stuff,
The cloud.
the cloud,
Yeah.
the cloud that was Destiny, and now you're beginning to emerge yet anew.
Yep.
What are the things that you looked at and said, like, this is what we gotta hit with this?
I think a bunch of it's the stuff that we talked about at that event. It's the world that pulls you in. When you go there's a bunch of stuff to do, and there's always people for you to play with. Like, it's that simple. Like, our best content in Destiny 1, like we talked about this, it was hidden. You couldn't
Right.
find groups for the raid. Like, a bunch of people have never had the fun of getting to like the penultimate game of your trials match and having it all continue and you get a shot at the lighthouse, or having it all evaporate. And I know Brad's never experienced that.
No, yeah, no.
Bless him.
Dang.
But we wanted to unhide that fun, the fun of raiding, the fun of doing the Nightfalls, the fun of trials. And so that's a huge part for us, is the investment in things like guided games and systems that can make the game more social. Like when I hear, I got to ask a question today about, there's some games that are being called Destiny-like, right? Which is awesome. That's like extremely flattering. Oh my gosh, if people compare it to a genre, that's amazing. But what we need to do is continue to double down on our corner of like, we're a social action shooter. We want to be an action game where you're going to bump into other people. That it's not just a world where you and your friends play together. It's a world where you and people who could become your friends play together. And like, our responsibility is to keep building that world.
Yeah, and that's been, so the guided games thing, hearing it, I was like, that's really smart, they need to try it. And I thought about it some more, I'm like, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to be the sixth guy with 5 people on the raid, or I don't know if I want to be part of the 5-man team that's bringing in someone they don't know that might not be reliable. And it seems like a bold experiment. It seems like something that like you should definitely be doing.
Yep.
But how do you solve for people being people?
Yeah, the toxicity problem is what we talk about this a lot. And Emmy Chung, who's the social lead for Destiny, and she is brilliant. She's doing a bunch of stuff with the system here, where at the handshake of Singleton and group, like we're doing things rooted in psychology to prime players to like these are the types of expectations and experiences that you're getting into, and a thing comes up, and we believe people will read it because it'll be short and there'll be a delay before you hit the button, and then we're also leveraging. I mean, this is like not intentionally crude, but we look at guided games a little bit like hookup culture, like. You basically, like, as a seeker, you'll be shown guides in the way that, like, Tinder, you're like, hey, do you want to accept or decline these people?
That's wild.
Because but what this is you're making the same types of decisions. You're making a snap judgment about a person on Tinder, and you're making a snap judgment about a group. You're basically saying, swipe right means you like go hang out with that person, at least see what it's like. And, for us, when you accept playing with a group as a seeker, you're saying the same thing. Like, hey, for the next hour, like, I'll play with these people, and at the end of it, like, if it goes great, awesome. Maybe you found 5 new friends. If it goes badly, like, cool, go your separate ways, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And so it is. I don't want to say it's an experiment, but we're trying something very different.
Right.
In
Do you
this
find
space.
yourself like adjusting the content at all with some of that in mind?
This was
Because that's because there are definitely groups of 6 that are just like all in and they want more of that. But is there any temptation to go like, well, if we reduce the need for voice chat here, then it's going to be more accessible to more players.
And like there's some stuff that me personally, I've been pretty unwilling to move around. Like the raids, I think always should be challenging you to cooperate, collaborate, and communicate. And that sounds like way too
The 3
PR-y.
Cs.
Yeah, the 3 Cs
The
of
3
raiding.
Cs of D2. It's my new feature. It's a side.
But well, I mean, I don't want to bring the difficulty down. Like we had a conversation. We have a brand new death penalty in the game for raiding. Like I think it's pretty unfun to die and just watch on hard mode. So we have a brand new difficulty, brand new death penalty. And on the normal mode raids, people have talked about wanting to remove it because it's different. And why not just use the strike difficulty? But we don't want to change the difficulty because we want the groups like. We believe our players are smart, and we believe like motivated groups of players can take these challenges on and complete them. Like we've seen that. Like some like silly number of people completed the raids in Destiny 1 where you had to like basically like the equivalent of using a dial-up phone to like get in touch with people. We were like, I'm gonna go to this website and find these 5 people.
Wait, why do they sound like that? Why do they sound like that?
That's how. How
dare you?
I was.
Are you speaking? Are you saying that I sound like that?
I was giving. I was trying to level with you. We use the same.
Wow.
thing. Yeah, we both have our gamer voices.
Wow.
Tap into the same.
Was it? I guess like because at some point, it must be a weird mix of like because we have we have an API so people build external tools that use the website and on sometimes I go like, oh, that's really amazing that people do stuff, and then I go like, man, we should just have that feature. So is it the same watching people use external tools for like, oh, here's how we do public quest trackers?
It's totally some of that. Like the whole notion of like go to your phone and like look where the public events are gonna happen. Like, oh my gosh, stop. We're gonna put it on the map for you.
Yeah, right.
We built you a map. We're gonna put it on the map for you, and now you can go to this place, and other people will know what's happening too, and maybe we'll get some of that like Destiny uniqueness. Some of that like, hey, we're just back to back for a few minutes shooting aliens. Oh, that was cool. Bye.
Yeah.
Like back to whatever else I was doing. Like that's awesome. We should be doing stuff like that. Same with
gotta go get the rest of this spin medal.
yeah, there are some lessons that we're going to take away.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of spin medals been harvested.
I was going to say, I spent a lot of time just chatting with people, just getting spin medal.
And I think, so just really quickly on that, I think it's okay to have things like spin medal, like things like downtime gathering. It's like not okay when you feel like you need those to power up your stuff.
Sure.
Because when it's just elective and you're like, oh, I'll just do this and maybe something cool will happen, that's fine. Because then it's downtime. When you're like, oh, fuck, I'm just trying to level up this gun, like lesson learned.
Yeah. I definitely did a bit of both. Like there were times where I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna get everything that I see on my way over to this thing, and that'll be enough for this thing. And then there were definitely cases where I'm like, I have to go to Mars now.
It's time to do chores.
Yeah, exactly.
We're trying to reduce the chore count.
Yeah,
in Destiny.
I think that's something that a lot of like MMOs had to kind of learn along the way, and Destiny certainly like takes from some of that stuff. But like some of that stuff, I imagine you just have to get out there and try it before you know.
Yep, and try, and sometimes you face plant like the first time with the teleprompter. And
how far do you go though, right? Like I think part of the challenge, we've never made a sequel, which I think is a blessing and a curse. On the flip side, how far do you go with breaking the mold with challenging players when you know mandatorily so many people actually really just want more, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I really believe that there is value in challenging people and pushing them forward and actually trying to take the things that they love and make them better for them, even though they don't know it.
Yep.
But how far do you go when you're dealing with a kind of like game-changing game?
Yeah. I think the way that I've described this problem internally is like it's like having at a point, Destiny 2 had become like a cue ball that you're playing pool with, where it was like we had like filed all the rough edges off of it, and the thing you had in your hand was like still a Destiny game, but you're like, man, it doesn't have the same grit to it. So then you have to start chipping away at some of those smooth edges to get a little bit of the grit back into it. You don't want to file everything away that players love in an effort to create this like beautiful smooth thing, because some of what I think people like in this weird way is that it's flawed.
Absolutely.
Like, is that it's like those the dirty elements to it are like things that become endearing. Like, I was there when.
Yep.
Like, screw you. I was 29 forever because I didn't get boots. And there's a thing where they look back on that now, and like people are like,
Badges of honor,
I wish
man.
I was still. I remember when I had to work.
Yeah.
And so we get to this place where it's like a really delicate balance, because you don't want to have this thing that you've taken all the rough edges off of, but at the same time there are some rough edges that if you leave in, they're just going to start to cut people and they're going to bleed all over the place and be super pissed. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and like in some weird ways, you know, we had some folks from Microsoft, like Sea of Thieves and some other stuff on earlier, and they were talking a lot about that kind of player story. And I know that was like a big part of like Destiny 1's announcement and stuff. There was very much that, like, you know, every player will have a story, and it seems like over the course of that first year, those stories quickly became like, I shot into this cave for hours and it was dope. We got the best guns. It was so cool. But like that's, you know, but in some weird way, that's, I feel like sort of what you're talking about is like, yeah, you kind of want to have people with some of this goofball good times with your game, even if it's not what you intended.
Yep.
Especially if they occasionally feel like they got over.
Yep.
And they're like, I got maybe a gun I maybe shouldn't have had because I shot into this cave. It's like, you know, you want to be able to like just not cheat, but maybe just get ahead a little bit here and there and feel like they're having a better time than they should have been having.
Yeah, like humans are wired for efficiency. Like they're actually we are actually like as people wired to be more efficient and to
I would
find
disagree
find
for a few people that are friends that I love that are not wired for efficiency.
I'm wired for efficiency in some things, but a mess in the rest.
Yes,
Yeah.
I feel similarly.
Yeah.
Like I cannot check the mail. For the life of me, I cannot get the mail from the
I can
mailbox.
check my mail, cannot check my email.
No, I can't. Yeah, like physical mail, I cannot do.
It's got
Yeah.
there's too
Is
much.
that why we had
No,
to-
it's just a
Yeah,
disaster.
it's just the whole thing. I have
There's a lot
weeks of
going on.
email. It's just
There's
a lot you don't want to
sorry.
say.
It's my fault.
fine.
Yeah.
I have 13,000 unread emails.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think I have like 10,700.
Yeah.
Just delete them.
I'm sorry, coworkers.
Man.
Just delete them.
Oh man.
Sorry,
That's like
people that
just
wanted me to
tell
come
people-
see their games at E3. I just,
Oh, do you just tell people like, come over? How do you handle that if you're not an email person?
I don't tell them anything, and they leave me alone. And me and my wife hang out and go out to dinner and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't have to talk to
Right on.
people.
That is
Okay.
actually a fair answer.
That's great.
I
It's
wanted
the
to find a flaw in what you were
healthiest-
saying.
healthiest
I
answer.
don't.
Yeah,
find
I
a flaw.
like. I
That's
wish.
actually a fair
I
answer.
wish I was better at that shit.
Why? You're fine with it, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it
you're probably
doesn't
doing
seem to
fine.
be
Still
hurting
alive.
There's,
you.
you know, honestly, like there's 1 out of every 100 of those emails that I go like, fuck. Like I should.
Yeah, but for the amount of anxiety the rest of them would cause you, is it worth it?
No, well, the other end is that then there's a lot of anxiety for like I'm probably missing a lot of emails that
Do
are
you
like.
feel that though, or are you like, nope, it's a hard no. I'm not
It's
checking
back and
any of
forth.
them.
It's
Okay.
there's anxiety at both ends. It's the worst. It's actually I don't know that there's actually a way out.
So Applebee's should be concerned about you, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they're gonna. Applebee's will save
No,
my
they've
life.
already
Just saying
proven.
you.
Yeah.
They've already proven they're concerned. It's just
Right,
like they
they
need
should.
to
It's
actually.
ready, they're ready
Yeah,
for you
I need to meet them halfway.
to answer their email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They reached out.
And maybe someday, God willing, I will. I want to thank you all for coming
Oh,
by.
we're done?
Yeah.
That was.
There's a party out there. We'll just keep hanging out. Right?
Yeah, no, feel free. I mean, obviously, feel free to keep out. We got
Did
one
we
more
really
couch
end it
full
on
of guests
Applebee's,
that are
or
going to be
we
coming out and
ended on
closing
I
us
don't know how else to
out.
end.
Janina, thanks so much for coming
It's
by.
so nice to
Yeah.
be with you guys.
Yeah.
I really like
It's good
Fun
to
time.
My
good to
mother
meet you.
calls you guys what'd you call them? The Great Balls of Fire guys?
Yeah, WWE Great Balls
Oh,
of Fire.
because
That's
I
us.
saw you guys on the floor and it's just like, oh, are those the Great Balls of Fire guys? Or boys? The Great Balls of Fire boys? I was like, yes, that's exactly
We got to register.
That's
who
we
that
need to
was.
register that. We got to get
Yes,
that
I
going.
wrote that song.
Yeah, Alex wrote the song. I play bass on it.
Great.
Like kind of doom, doom,
Is that how you hold a bass?
Yeah, that's
You
how I.
like
That's
really
how
high?
I like it up high.
Really?
I like it
Okay,
up
okay,
high.
really
you know.
high.
Ben, thanks so much for coming through.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Donut County
It was
being shown. And
Yeah.
Is Bubsy3D.com still available for people?
It's right now. It's under construction.
Okay.
There
all
might
right.
be some new things
Ooh.
happening on there.
Okay.
So check Bubsy3D.
All right, you better hurry before someone else with the Bubsy IP goes like, hey,
Don't worry about that.
I think he knows a good lawyer, just
Yeah.
in case.
Yeah, he's
I got
really
it.
expensive, but he's worth it.
Luke Smith, I got the press release saying Destiny was shipping early and it was like 3 days. I mean,
2
that's
days early. I
2
mean,
days.
come
I mean,
on.
that's
That
awesome.
counts.
Come on.
But also,
That counts.
Like, when does that happen?
Those
That's actually a
distance-
smart call.
When does that? Yeah, it's like server technology.
Yes, Nathan
complete
likes very
horse
much.
show.
yeah, could get that game.
A rare twist.
I'm looking forward to play the full version. I
Thanks.
had a good time playing what you got being shown so far.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Nathan Vella, Below is gonna ship soon. Below 2, obviously, definitely in the works now too.
What's your
That's
top-
You were
First.
saying you never got a chance to make a sequel. Now's the time.
Hey.
Now it's Below 2 right here.
I would,
Below 2's
I
gonna
would
be about
love, I
us.
would love it if people bought Below and we got to make Below 2. So,
All right. Well, there you
So
go.
do that.
That's
but
now that's on y'all.
in order to do that, we probably should ship the first one. So.
Yeah. Okay.
That's-
well,
that's-
I don't know.
try.
What if you just put Below 2 out, like kind of pull a Frog Fractions sort of thing?
If Super Time Force had done a little better, we were going to put out Super Time Force 4 next.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
you guys only bought a fair amount of it, so
Fair enough.
no funny sequel jokes for you.
And then is OKKO out?
yeah, it's this fall.
This fall. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And the show's out in August. The game, I think they're super cool. They are putting the game out later so people can actually watch the show
Get
first.
into the show.
Wait,
and
is
then- yeah.
Ashley Birch in that show?
She is.
Yes!
We got to. She was actually the
She
first.
just told me all about that. Now I'm understanding why she was excited.
Yeah,
oh,
it's-
yeah.
Getting to work with
Ashley
is
Birch,
the best.
Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And many other things. And Life is-
yeah, a
Life is
whole
Beautiful.
bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was actually the first person that we recorded voice with for the game, and
Awesome.
That's great.
She's rad.
we could have an entire segment where everybody just compliments Ashley Birch.
Yeah, truly.
For real, it's kind of sad how much.
We'll
she's
see how
better
this
than
last
us.
segment
She's better
goes,
than
and
all
then
of
we'll
us.
get you guys back on.
Great.
And Alex Navarro, giantbomb.com is available now.
Yes, yeah.
3D,
It'll
Giant
be
Bomb.
out this fall.
Congratulations.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, Giant Bomb 2, we're working on it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
great.
No, Giant Bomb 2 is gonna blow your butt out your butt. We'll be back. Thanks, everybody.
good
We'll be
note.
back for one more set of guests here after this. Stay tuned. Guns.